Welcome to Notion and Motion. I am Mirai, a product designer and Notion ambassador based in Toronto. This podcast is all about exploring how people use Notion in their lives. Whether you're just getting started or already a Notion pro, there's something here for you. In each episode, we'll dive into real-world Notion workflows, discover productivity hacks, and share inspiring stories from Notion users around the world. All right, Aneta, welcome to Notion and Motion. I'm so happy to have you. And I just wanted to start with a very simple question that, can you share a bit about who you are, where you're joining from, what you do, and more?
Yeah, super happy to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me to talk about Notion. It's definitely a tool that is super aligned with my personality and background because I'm coming from architecture. Right now working in tech and design, and actually I'm based in Norway, as we've discussed, but originally from Poland, being in designer for 13, 14 years. I stopped counting. And I use Notion for a variety of goals. It's really my main tool, to be honest, for like organization, structuring, taking notes for my goals, projects, and also for my portfolio course that I run. And part of things I have for my students are actually placed in Notion. So this is me. I don't want to spend a lot of time on me. I am super excited to talk about the tool itself.
That's okay. That's why we are here today. We're just gonna talk about you. Okay, the next one is when you think back, how did you start using Notion and what was your first impression when you discovered it? And with these, you can be totally honest because I remember I got answers that it was complicated to start or it was awesome to start. So feel free to share.
Yeah, of course. I actually don't recall when I started because it's been a while. It's been a while, but I remember I am a very organized person, like by nature. I really like very structured way of, I don't know, learning, planning projects and so on. Probably maybe because I'm coming from architecture background and it taught me to be super
organized.
structured. Yes, but I think it's my personality. I remember at some part of my career, I was very interested into note-taking topic. I remember it was still I think 1 year ago or more, I was still making the second brain. Right now, I try to be more strategic. You don't need to make notes out of everything, even if you create content online. But I remember I was very curious about the topic of note taking, how I can make it more smart, how I can make it much more aligned with me, because I remember Evernote, I think. Apple Notes, of course, but I think I was heavily using Evernote. I don't know what. Probably someone recommended this to me, so I was using this. And then I remember I found the content creator. He wrote this book about the second brain, and he's Tiago Forte, I think. And I remember he has made a great YouTube video about different personalities for different note-taking apps. And I remember I watched this, and I remember that I don't remember all personalities, but the two of them were architect and gardener, I think. And I remember he recommended for gardener Obsidian and Rome. And then for architects, Notion. I was already using Notion, just saying.
And then there we go.
Yeah, but there was also a nice clarification about why because I tried Obsidian, for instance. This is very mind mapping structure, very free to you go there and it's kind of a bit like with the AI and chats right now. You go, you have something empty a bit, and now you need to provide to the tool something, and it connects the notes. So I didn't know how to use it, to be honest, and probably that's why I was researching this, and I was questioning whether I actually should use Notion, even though I didn't find any issues with Notion itself, but I was just curious what would be best. And actually it turned out that Notion is very aligned with me. because I like to organize everything according to what I prefer and usually upfront. So for instance, I love databases, and this is probably one of the most used tools that I've been using in Notion. It's not like I am maybe very advanced in, but sometimes I don't know how to set up some formulas and stuff. But I really like the way how I can structure things in Notion, that I can decide, okay, I want this database, I want this category, this column, and everything, and then I can see everything up front. Nothing is like an empty blank, and it's very handy to use when it comes to the old shortcuts. Um, Personalization as well. I love the part about the visual part of this, that I have those galleries, that I have some cover images, that I have some icons. This probably comes from being a designer, maybe.
Exactly.
Perspective. But yeah, this was my journey to probably with Notion so far. And then right now I try to be even more structured, and I actually in regards to Obsidian and ROM, I remember I actually was trying those tools because I was like figuring out whether it's better for those links, backlinks. But I still like, as you can see, I'm not using Obsidian or Rome. I'm using Notion, and I use some backlinks or databases connections. So there are things that you can figure out in Notion for this as well. So
That makes sense. The reference back to the databases, I understand what you say, but in the meantime, it's one of the beauties that it's so simple and so useful and user-friendly for sure. And you just need multiple databases to to organize things up
yes,
front. And it's great to hear that you almost did, not almost, you actually did a market research for your own needs, and then
yes,
you make the analysis, and then you were like, okay, actually, these other two have these pros, but in the meantime, Notion has this. So you kind of
yes,
make your own choice with your own research. That's actually very remarkable. That's awesome. The next
yes.
one is really similar to what you said, and you actually mentioned it, but I wanted to ask in more deep. How do you use Notion for your projects? Like, is it heavily on personal life, heavily on work life, or any other things that you do?
Yeah. Okay. I will just quickly open my Notion on my site
Mm-hmm.
so that I can tell you what's going on here.
Awesome.
Generally, I must say I use it for both. I use it for my personal lifestyle part as well as the business part, because I
Mm-hmm.
am solopreneur. So right now, I'm relying heavily on Notion. To be honest, I have a paid version of Notion.
Mm-hmm.
That's how much I invest in the tool.
That's commitment.
That's a commitment. So for maybe I will start from a lifestyle. Why? Because I'm trying to connect those two words. For me, there is very hard to separate those parts, especially if I run a solopreneurship business. I've been trying to be very intentional about my plans for life or career or in general. So for instance, coming from the top of my structure would be definitely my vision board that I've been very intentionally mapping, and I'm using database for this. And this is I use the gallery view, of
Of course.
course. I'm using some tags for category visuals. Right now, I'm mostly using my own visuals or really specific visuals for a vision board, because I'm trying to make it more personalized, even on this emotional level. Because sometimes I find that I make a vision board and then I don't feel like it's my vision board. So I've been experimenting with this, but I have this vision board for a couple of years, and it's been in Notion. I've never changed the tool for this. So this is a top level. When it comes to the the rest of my lifestyle part, I don't know. With my husband, for instance, we have the whole section for finance headquarter kind of.
Of course.
We also yes, we have check-ins there. We have our goals there. Everything is based on a database. We use different currencies, so we figured this out as well in Notion. not a problem to do it. Different categories, if this is a fixed type of cost or variable, whatever, everything is there. And it's been working very well. And I really like our check-ins. We have for finance and for other personal stuff as well. So we have template for this. So for instance, in this one database, we have like template every week when we meet. We review some things about our life, or this is an example for money, but we have other ongoing projects per se. So this is heavily there. And I have maybe a very interesting part where I have also a database with a list of gift ideas.
I love that planning. I love that
So
one.
yeah, and then when it comes to, and this part is very simple in general, I try to keep everything simple. Sometimes I overcomplicate, and then I'm like, okay, Aneta, hold on, it's too complex. It's not, you can't have, because some people I know, because sometimes I buy or find some templates for Notion, and some people prefer something more complex, more. I use also formulas, but I try to keep everything simple. And whenever I see like some data doesn't serve me in a very actionable way, or it's just like a report, I just try to clean it up, and I'm doing this on a like ongoing basis. When it comes to the business part, I have like a full dashboard. It's not very complex or whatsoever, but it's divided into my business GPS, meaning where I have like some of my goals, I don't know, databases where I have my audits for business. The offering, marketing, content creation is a huge part of Notion, of course. Because I have my content calendar planner. I have even like maybe this one I actually can show.
Of course.
Let me share my screen quickly. I need to what's this one?
For the finances, I remember people were struggling with formulas because it's always scary for the majority.
Yes.
But right now, I'm also experiencing with Notion AI to like how to make it super easy. And I just explain what I'm wanting, and then I'm
Yes.
getting as a formula, and I'm like, this is a lifesaver, and that's all.
Yeah. I need to explore more Notion AI. Actually, I've been a bit trying to explore this, but I haven't been using that heavily. But actually, it's good that you are telling me that I can use it for formulas as well. Anyway, this is my content creation hub, as you can see.
Wow.
I have parts where I have some. This is my newsletter, for instance. This is also a database. This is also a database. Everything's actually a database almost. But maybe this part is actually those, I don't know. Today I posted this post, or I don't know, this one, and I have everything with all the categories, topics, the text, the captions, everything is here. I like this part.
Yes.
So I created, okay, so how many of them are actually in my backlog, waiting for being published, which one are filming, under construction, if I have something for review, writing, so I can have an overview of a situation with my content. So this is really cool. And maybe another one that I can show is my course. So how I structure this. So it's also database, as you can see.
Yes. We love gallery view, let's admit it.
Yeah, but what I like about this, so my course is of course also on like normal like platform with some videos and stuff, but this is a really good part because my students can also read and review something in Notion actually. So for instance, and everything is structured in the same way as in the platform where I have actually my videos and where is the community. But generally when you go, for instance, to one module, I really like that I could actually create like a visual for this where actually this was like prepared. I uploaded this. I can use like a dedicated icon for this. I also have some templates, and every lesson is actually divided. This is actually written, but as you can see, it's a mix of visuals and written formats. So for instance, I created these snapshots here that are, I think this is call out, how you call it. I'm not so sure, right?
Yes.
Actually, I can link to some other parts or some specific books or other resources or parts of the course that are relevant for this lesson. And then I can also have like a summary, which is really cool. So, and I really like also the table of content. I know some people sometimes miss it,
Thank you for
but
remembering that.
yes, but I really like it since I'm a heavy user, so I am aware of this, and this is very handy, especially for those lessons.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, and this is how it looks for me, the database. And I also have, I don't know, for instance, a database with those portfolio examples where I actually also included your portfolio somewhere.
Yes.
So this is how it looks. I
Mm-hmm.
actually need to update this right now because designers often turn off or their portfolios, so I will have to check it out. But maybe
Mm-hmm.
just to show a bit more of what type of data I add to the database.
Mm-hmm.
So the links. These are two the important parts. That's why you might have seen some people coming from Notion to your portfolio through this link. And I also always link to the designer. Some free text descriptions I really like always in some databases. I want some comments, personal
Mm-hmm.
notes, or this part actually is about the one-liner elevator pitch, but I also have a part where I actually have analyzed a bit more portfolio so that designers can actually see when you go to the bottom, you can actually see how many of them have personal photos, how many of them
Mm-hmm.
have projects under ANDA, how many of them have password protected projects. So they
Mm-hmm.
can see a summary below because every column can have some calculation, right? So for
Yeah.
instance, for number of projects, as you can see, this is the average number of projects that those designers have. So this is a really nice thing, and also it's very easy to use. And I have references to some concrete analysis or sections in the course here,
Mm-hmm.
which also works perfectly for me, to be honest. So yeah, I can't complain about this. And yeah, so this is these are some examples on how I use Notion.
That's true. Actually, as you mentioned, there's a funny story about it that I would love to recall it again. I was 100% sure you're a power user of Notion because as a designer, I'm checking my analytics of my portfolio,
Analytics.
and I was like, there's a Notion site there, and I was like, okay, Aneta is a power user. I'm pretty sure about it, and that's why this episode even more like special for me because as you mentioned, I'm just seeing the behind the scenes now. I saw as a user, and then now I'm seeing as a host, and then it's just awesome. And the way you mixed the databases and the website option is just so good because whenever you update things there, boom, the website is already updated. You don't need to do
Yes.
anything else, and everything is transparently there. And the required steps are less for you, especially since you have a busy schedule and a lot of content you're sharing. And by the way, you're really active on LinkedIn. If the audience doesn't know that, let's mention that too. And let's make sure adding your LinkedIn to bio as
Trying
well.
my best.
And you're doing your best. And
Oh,
yeah, like seeing all the things together with all the mess actually is awesome because the mess coming up together and then become a data, as you mentioned. Now you can even see how many of them having passwords of their portfolios, and that's an insight to share with junior designers or any type of designers there to
yes.
have an insight, you know? This is so cool. I love it. I love designer perspectives already. So I love to see that. And thanks for sharing it. That's awesome.
No worries.
So when you think about it, since you started very early, and you think of all your Notion experiences,
Mm.
what was the thing, or maybe it's still a Notion struggle that you have and how you overcome with it?
Oh, that's an interesting question. I think initially, of course, I think I struggle a bit with database. Like I am a designer, so like the concept of a database in general, it was scary
Yeah.
initially. But during my design career, I also had to start using some databases, and I actually learned this a bit. So maybe it became a bit less scary. And I think Notion, the format of databases in Notion is definitely less scary because it's very simple. I also like that they have cleaned up the table itself. I think that recently, it's right. It was
Yeah.
like very because I can see this, and I think this for me as a user of Notion, this is much better right now because I like the more cleaned up version. I think before, if I recall correctly, more elements in a like this edit mode were visible, I think, like
Mm-hmm.
more like lines or something. I don't know. It was a bit distracting. I remember for me because I
Mm-hmm.
really liked it. And I remember, I think I was turning on the view mode just to have it cleaned up. And
Uh-huh.
I must say, since I work in Notion like actively, most of my pages, databases are just in a edit mode. So I really like that right now, whatever I have, it doesn't look like in an edit mode. It's cleaned, it's very structured. I can see, even if, for instance, this content creation database, maybe it was a good example because I use a lot of
Mm-hmm.
tags. I use a lot of tags, the statuses, the tags about the topic, the tag about the platform, uh, like format. So whenever I had more like visible visual elements from a database, it was a
Mm-hmm.
bit distracting for me. So right now I like that this is very clean and the database format doesn't scare me. And I am also much more advanced, or maybe much more, I don't know. Right, I've learned how to use it.
Yes.
I've learned that I can have different tabs for the same database, right? I have, I don't know, a calendar view for my content creation part, and I have like a date, like a list. So this is very handy because I have different ways of reviewing data. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
the calendar is really good for having like an overview. As an example for content creation, for having an overview of, okay, I'm posting this here. I'm posting this next week, so I need to prepare beforehand. So I have like an overview for the whole month. Whereas
Exactly.
if I go to my backlog, I can actually, okay, go into details per post a bit, like see, okay, this is one post, this is the next post. So I like the way that I can actually adjust the format, the layout of the database, while this database actually is the same database for about the same content. So this is,
Mm-hmm.
and it took me a moment to learn, definitely. And the formula is probably something I'm still not that advanced with, but I'm trying to use this more and more often. So for instance, for this currency part, I have also one database where I have every day I try to write some daily reviews. Right now,
Mm-hmm.
I've changed the name for this for a CEO Diary, a Insightful podcast,
Mm-hmm.
where I actually have the database, which is where I run my daily reviews, and this database is connected with actually my yearly or monthly review, so I can see like an overview.
Mm-hmm.
If, for instance, one of the just looking at this right now. I don't know. In one of the questions for my daily reviews is the scoring, or how, like
Mm-hmm.
from 1 to 5 a day, and then I have an overview of this on a like yearly basis in another database, and this was run through some formula that I figured. So I have like a button. I added a button to this so that I can have like this button adds a new input to my weekly review or daily. I couldn't probably figured initially that it's something I had to probably learn a bit more. I like also, but when I figured this out, I love, for instance, looking at this yearly overview where I have like a visual percentage of, okay, like 84% for something, whatever it was. This
Mm-hmm.
is really good because this gives you like an overview of, like then this database is much more actionable, much more. So this is, I think, an upgrade for me, and it wasn't that easy for me to figure out initially. But yeah,
That's
with the
true.
visual part, probably, I don't know, the preference, maybe being a designer, or I don't know. And those connections between databases, this is something I've been really enjoying, and yeah, something I didn't do initially, right? It was
Mm-hmm.
first of all, I was like, okay, what is? I think I had a confusion between like they have also like a simple table, which I also use.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And so maybe this was also maybe something that I was figuring this out, but right now I know how to use both. I have like the specific goal for like this format and that format.
That's true.
Um,
Like that's actually one of the biggest learnings, I guess, like which component you're gonna use where. For example, table, as you mentioned, it's from your heavy content, the table is not easy for you at all.
No,
But
absolutely not.
databases with different, especially as you mentioned again, calendar view, which was in the very beginning of your experience, there were no calendar at all. And
Yes,
now you're able to see your whole month plus even more weeks above and below.
yes,
So it's
yes,
like it's giving you the idea of that, like how does it look like? And even we saw that how was your content? How was your
yes.
month of your content creation? So that's totally something. And the button as well. Thanks for recalling that. Button was one of the things again in the beginning. Even if I'm not wrong, it was just last year. In 1 year, it became
Yeah,
more
very
like
fresh.
useful, effective. So that's awesome to hear that actually. And you totally overcame with it. That's so cool. The other one is if you could add or remove one thing about Notion, what would it be, do you think?
This sounds like this is a research question. Um, oh Jesus, that's interesting one. I wasn't prepared for this question.
It's so
And
good. Take your
I
time.
wasn't prepared. Yeah, yeah. Which feature I would remove? The one that they improved with the table. I remember when they improved the table view. This was really something I was waiting for a bit. I was like, okay, they should clean this up. And when and when they did it, I was like, amazing. This is so handy. If there's anything I would remove, very interesting. Maybe let's start from the part about adding,
Okay.
because I have one idea. So I am a heavy user of Framer, the tool for creating, the tool for
Hmm.
creating websites, no-code tool, and they have this concept of like a free-form canvas that I think we also have. Yeah, we have also in Figma or
Hmm.
Miro, all those digital workspaces.
Hmm.
Uh, which might be more scary because also Obsidian has something like this when
Hmm.
you open this mind map part. But maybe there's an idea, an opportunity to explore that maybe if you could change your page, because right now it's very structured, right? Like
Hmm.
it's based on a grid. There are columns.
Hmm.
For instance, some designers try to create portfolios there. Um, when you are starting out in design and also in Notion, you still don't know how to set this up. So sometimes when I review
Hmm.
portfolios that are in Notion, some are really good, but sometimes people struggle because those columns and those horizontal lines do not match,
I see.
do not align. So maybe having like a free form page version would be an option to
Hmm.
like to organize your page better, also from a perspective of like brainstorming that I also do in Notion. Sometimes I go to FigJam, for instance, yeah, like the version
Hmm.
where it's this freeform canvas because I just want to throw out the sticky notes or something like this.
True.
But I do like to have a lot of things in Notion, so I find myself linking to something like this outside file, like embedded link, having this in Notion. But maybe this is an idea to have like the option to change this very rigid structured page and pick this format, right? So that
Hmm.
okay, you could have like a grid-based version and maybe freeform version, freeform
Hmm.
page, canvas, something like this.
From
Um,
customized layout to more like customized, but in a free way, you say, right?
yes,
Hmm.
yes,
Hmm. Hmm.
yes.
Makes sense. Yeah, I totally hear you from the fig jam. I do the same again. I'm like, I need to just dump with sticky notes. And then if I need to dump again with the filtration, then I come from fig jam to Notion and then make the final things. And then actually everything settled down. And it's
Yeah.
just like from there, you build the whole things, which is also like what we need. And yeah, for Framer, which I did my portfolio too, that you reviewed. I feel visually you need something to move around sometimes. So
Yes.
that's a good actual advice. Thank you. Um, what's the one thing? It could be one component, one feature of Notion that you cannot live without it. I think I know the answer, but I still want to.
Yeah.
Let's one 100% validate this answer.
Uh,
Databases?
it's probably databases. Yes, it's really databases. I don't know. Everything is like, I like the organized version. Like I am organized. Although, as I told you right now, I sometimes like to go somewhere where there is like no grid or anything like this and throw my ideas there. But overall, I like to put there everything also in some sort of visual structure. This probably, I don't know, maybe it's coming from my architecture background. I remember someone even told me recently that my post ties are very organized in a sense that are very aligned and everything, like very rigid. So I like to organize my space in similar ways, and databases are definitely very helpful because I don't need to, align. Like I also use the freeform page. Like I just note down something and like have something like a list. Definitely, I would use it. But database is amazing, and I think I figured out how to use it, how to customize it, how to make it different or maybe more personalized depending on my goal and how I enjoy. Like for instance, vision board. That's an example. It's something different for me, this database, to compare to, for instance, I don't know, my weekly or daily reviews, right? They are much more heavy on content, some rating, percentage, something like this, whereas the vision board is very visual. So I'm using this gallery version and it works perfectly. So yeah, I think databases.
That makes sense. Particularly gallery view, maybe. Last question. What would you wish that people would know about Notion?
Yeah, that's a very, very good question. I think first of all, I would start from probably what I said already, what I actually did in this process of figuring out whether Notion is for me or not, to actually understand who you are, like what you prefer, like what is your preferred way of, I don't know, taking notes, planning projects, because of course you have so many tools that you could try, right? But also so little time. That's why I think this reference to Tiago's YouTube channel is really, this video in particular is a very good one, to actually figure out, okay, who I am, and also like define, okay, what I am using, I'm going to use Notion for, right? But because I think Notion can be used for a variety of goals. It's a very easy tool. And if you feel like sometimes maybe some designers, I remember mentioning that, oh, I'm overwhelmed. It's like too rigid or I don't know, too complex. I feel like probably, at least this is from my experience, whenever I feel that my setup in Notion gets like too complex and I find it that for instance, I drop it, I don't stop using this, or I feel like it's very overwhelming, it's because I have set this up in that way. Generally, you go to Notion and it's very like the entry part is like literally you just go there, open a page and you start. There is learning, and the learning curve is very flat. I mean, there is no learning curve.
And like since you use already, there are a lot of templates at the marketplace, so people could
Yes,
actually get
exactly.
that from there too.
Yeah, exactly. And I actually myself, I've been using templates as well. I bought some templates, I customized them. This is something, right? Mixed up some templates, which is amazing. And I also been using one template that is free. I think, if I recall correctly, this was a template for project management, something like this, that is provided by Notion team itself, I think. And it was very, very handy. The way how the databases are set up, they make sense. The way how you go from like milestone goals to some, the statuses and everything. So you need to figure out what you want and actually start from something. And I don't think Notion makes it difficult for users, to be honest. Especially for those who like this organized way of things. This is a really great tool. As you can see, I've been using this for different goals, for my course for designers, for my own personal life, for content creation. So I think it can support you in a variety of ways. But I think maybe you just need to give it a try and see. But of course, if you need to first understand what what you need it for and what is your way of like structuring things, because maybe you can even go there and just use a page and like write something in bullet points and that's it. And then
Exactly.
right, and this is fine. I have this type of pages as well, and I like that I can have it on desktop, and sometimes I write something on my phone. So I think it's on you to make it work for you. It's very flexible in this context, I think. So maybe this is something people don't know about Notion, that it's actually not complex or difficult, because you need to set this up ultimately. They provide you with some formats. They provide you with some components, I don't know how we should call it, that you can use, and of course with all this community with templates, but if you overcomplicate this, it's like with any tool, right?
Exactly.
It's also like with planning and everything. If you overcomplicate this is actually more on you than on the tool itself.
Exactly. That's one of the things also, like with the simplicity and databases, as you mentioned, and the marketplace as well. One of the things, for example, I did was I'm learning French, and I was learning French like last
Oh,
year too. Bien.
comment ça va?
Ça va bien, merci. Comment ça va?
Bien.
So to improve that, actually, I made a gift tracker template, which you like, in French.
Yes.
Because all I need is, because I love like giving gifts at Christmas time and I
Oh
wanted to
God.
keep track it. I can send you the link, no worries. But-
No, I have one more page to show.
oh, that's awesome. Let's
Yeah,
see.
but
Let's see
continue.
that. Yeah, to improve my French, I actually just made a simple database with like who I'm giving this gift. Is it a shipping? Is it just like given in person? What was my
Yeah.
budget for that, etc. And people love it. And people even use it in February. That's kind of shock for me, but that shows the
Wow.
love. So that means that, as you mentioned, all the need is what you like. What is your goal with using a tool like Notion?
Yes.
Then, like, what do you want to use? Because sometimes you can't create in the beginning, but you can consume from the templates, from the people's
Yes.
stories like you share right now. So that's why it's pretty good reminder to showcase that, like, and now you're gonna show us as well, showcase
Yes.
that, like, just think about who you are and then plan the things accordingly
Yes.
for that.
Yeah.
That makes
Yeah,
sense.
actually it's funny that you mentioned French, because I right now I'm not actively learning any language, but I was learning and preparing myself for a certificate in Norwegian.
Mm-hmm.
So I actually had everything in Notion, which I forgot about, which is actually
Awesome.
really interesting to see maybe.
Look at your
Um,
all views. You even have B2 UX design, like all personal and business terms. That's awesome.
Yes. So yeah, for instance, this is an example of the database with some vocabulary. As you can see, divided into some topics. These are topics like, I don't
Hmm.
know, health. These are adjectives, adverbs, linking words, for instance, the ones that you need for some writing when you learn a
Hmm.
language, right? So I have it, and everything is, of course, tagged. So even if you are in this all like table, you can filter this based on I don't know, the topic, right? Itself,
Hmm.
the theme, or what is the for like the function of this, whether as you can see, I also have UX design because I
Yeah.
was working in a Norwegian, so I had to learn some words. So this was this, but I had actually everything here.
Wow, I love
uh,
the cover page, first of all. That's
yeah,
so
it's
cool.
like the whole project. It was the whole project, and I even have this
Wow.
like, because I was preparing for the certificate. As you can see here, this database is right now empty because it's been a while already. But I have everything here: the vocabulary database, the part for listening where I was making notes, reading, grammar, resources, generally everything, like even some fancy
Hmm.
words. This was, yeah, also for languages. That's
That's awesome.
actually
I
interesting.
also learned a few words when you were showing us. So
Yeah.
if I need Norwegian, then I will try to use some of them.
Yes.
That's
If someone
awesome.
wants the my Norwegian database, I've already shared it with many people.
Maybe you should make a website. Like you should turn
Right?
it into a website or template. I don't know, however
All
you'd like
right.
to.
Yeah.
Just the idea is there, that's all. That's awesome. I'm glad you showed that one too. That was That was really exciting to see actually like your whole Notion setup, and even the places that we did the databases that we didn't see is even more like complex and data heavy, and a lot of things
Yes,
you're creating from there. This is awesome. Thank you so much for the episode. I am thrilled. End of this episode, I saw a lot of different things and the audience as well, and it's just great to see a power user, a Notion power user perspective as a designer, as a previous architect, and in both personal and work life, which is so
yes,
cool. I will totally add your LinkedIn bio again. If you like to recall other links that you wanna recall, feel free to say here, and then I can add to the bio again. And that's all.
absolutely.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
thank you so much for having me. It was really a pleasure. Great topic, great tool. Super happy to be able to talk about actually the tool that I've been really heavily using for so many things. So yeah, super initiative with this with those interviews, and thank you for inviting me.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Bye, Aneta.
Bye.
Bye-bye. And that's a wrap. If you enjoyed this conversation and wanted to discover more ways with Notion, be sure to subscribe and join our growing community. You can find me on LinkedIn or check out my templates at Notion. You can find all details description below. Thanks so much for listening, and catch you in the next episode.